Your success is set to a specific temperature, and no amount of hustle changes it. Somewhere in your mind, there's an invisible thermostat holding you at exactly the level you're at right now. You can force the room to heat up with willpower, motivation, discipline. But the second you stop pushing, it snaps right back down to that same setting. That's not a discipline problem. That's a number you've never actually seen. And later, I'll show you exactly where it's hiding. Think about what happens when you try to force a change using willpower alone. You stay disciplined for 3 days, maybe a week. You wake up early, you hit your work targets, you avoid cheap dopamine. But by Thursday night, an invisible friction starts building in your mind. It feels like pulling a heavy rubber band. The harder you pull toward your goals, the stronger the tension becomes, until eventually your mind snaps back directly to your old baseline. You crash, you binge, you procrastinate, and then you spend the next 3 days beating yourself up, wondering why you lack discipline. Here is the truth that mainstream productivity gurus will never tell you. You do not have a discipline problem. You have an identity architecture problem. Your mind is governed by an internal psychological thermostat. If your internal thermostat is set to 68 degrees, and the room suddenly heats up to 80 degrees because you had a burst of temporary motivation, your subconscious mind views that success as an anomaly. It views that sudden spike in performance as a threat to your established baseline. So what does it do? It triggers internal sabotage, procrastination, sudden fatigue, self-doubt, distraction, to cool the room back down to 68 degrees. Until you change the setting on the thermostat itself, every single spike in performance will be followed by an inevitable crash. You will spend years running on a hamster wheel, working harder and harder just to stay in the exact same place financially, mentally, and socially. To understand why this happens, picture your psychology as 3 concentric circles, like layers of an onion. The outermost layer, layer 3, is your surface performance. This is where your daily actions live, your explicit thoughts, your daily habits, your work routine, and your surface-level effort. Directly beneath that is layer 2, your emotional baselines and believability filters. This is what you actually believe is realistic for you. It dictates your automatic emotional reactions, your threshold for stress, and your comfort zone. But at the absolute center, layer 1, is your core identity. This is your master program. It is the core narrative you hold about who you are, what you deserve, and what your limits are. Layer 1 was programmed into you by past environments, childhood conditioning, early failures, and the unexamined stories you implicitly accepted about yourself. When you attempt to change your life at layer 3 using willpower, you are attempting to fight a war against your own core identity. Layer 1 will win every single time. But when you execute a structural identity shift at layer 1, something remarkable happens. Your emotional baselines at layer 2 shift automatically, and your surface actions at layer 3 no longer require heavy willpower. High-level execution stops feeling like an uphill battle and simply becomes your natural baseline response. So the million-dollar question is, why is your current identity so stubborn? Why does your mind cling to a low baseline identity even when you consciously want to succeed? Your current identity isn't held together by accident. It is locked into place by 3 distinct identity anchors. Until you identify and systematically sever these 3 anchors, any self-improvement protocol you try will feel like driving a high-performance vehicle with the parking brake fully engaged. Anchor 1. Secondary gain. The first anchor keeping you trapped is secondary gain. This is a psychological reality that most men refuse to admit to themselves. Every bad habit, every plateau, and every recurring pattern of self-sabotage provides your subconscious mind with a hidden secondary reward. Your subconscious mind does not care about your high aspirations, your dream bank account, or your desire for physical perfection. Its primary directive is survival and comfort. It wants to keep you safe from perceived threat. When you stay at a financial plateau, what is the secondary gain? Staying at that plateau protects you from the terrifying risk of failing at a higher level. If you never launch the business, you never have to face public rejection. If you stay in your comfort zone, you never have to bear the heavy burden of real responsibility. When you procrastinate, the secondary gain is immediate comfort and protection from the anxiety of stepping into the unknown. Your mind will gladly sacrifice your ultimate potential today if it means keeping you safe from discomfort right now. To break free from this, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. You must look at the habits that are destroying your progress and ask, what is the hidden payoff? What am I getting out of staying stuck? The moment you bring these hidden payoffs into conscious awareness, their invisible control over your decision-making begins to evaporate. Anchor 2: narrative attachment. The second anchor keeping your old code locked in place is narrative attachment. Human beings are storytelling creatures, and you are deeply addicted to the story you tell about yourself. Pay close attention to the vocabulary you use every single day. Every time you say phrases like, "I'm just a procrastinator," "I'm not good with numbers," "I've always been bad at social interactions," "I always crash after a good week," you are not just making an observation, you are issuing an executive command to your subconscious mind. You are actively writing the software code that your brain is required to execute. The human ego has an overwhelming psychological need to stay consistent with its established narrative. You will literally defend your limitations, justify your weaknesses, and sabotage golden opportunities just to prove your internal narrative right. Losing your limitations feels uncomfortable because, to your subconscious, losing your story feels like losing a piece of your identity. You have to realize that your past story is not objective truth. It is simply a bad script you've memorized through repetition. Anchor 3: environmental validation. The third anchor is environmental validation. Your internal identity is constantly fed and mirrored back to you by your external environment. Your environment acts as an external anchor, constantly dragging your internal thermostat back down. You cannot expect to build a multi-millionaire, elite-level mind while surrounded by an environment designed for a distracted, passive consumer. Now that you see the 3 anchors holding your old code in place, let's move into the actionable framework. To systematically rewrite your identity from the core up, we execute the 4-step identity shift protocol. Step 1: auditing the internal script. You cannot fix a glitch in your operating system until you map out where the code is broken. Take a notebook and split a page into 2 distinct columns. In the left column, list every recurring bottleneck, plateau, or self-sabotaging behavior you experience. Write down the moments where you consistently pull back, whether it's stopping work after 2 hours, retreating into cheap dopamine, abandoning projects right before launch, or avoiding hard conversations. In the right column, write down the hidden secondary gain behind each item. Ask yourself directly, how does staying in this loop protect me? What heavy responsibility or fear of failure am I avoiding by staying right here? When you look at this page, you will see your entire self-sabotage system laid out in black and white. You will realize that your bad habits were never random accidents. They were deliberate, protective mechanisms created by your old identity. Exposing them strips them of their power. Step 2: the identity decoupling exercise. The second step is mastering identity decoupling. You must draw a firm line between your conscious awareness and the temporary psychological impulses generated by your old operating system. When a sudden surge of laziness, distraction, or fear hits you, standard self-help tells you to fight it. But fighting it gives it attention and weight. Instead, practice decoupling. When you feel the urge to close your work tab and open social media, stop saying, "I am lazy" or "I am losing focus." Instead, step back mentally and observe the thought objectively. Frame it like this: My old identity operating system is trying to regulate the thermostat. It feels uncomfortable with this level of focus, so it is generating a distraction sequence. By shifting from "I am lazy" to "my old operating system is running a routine," you create a critical space of conscious awareness between stimulus and response. In that gap, you reclaim your power to choose. You stop treating resistance as a permanent flaw in who you are, and start viewing it simply as outdated software running in the background. You don't fight the old software. You simply let the prompt run out while keeping your hands on the controls. Step 3. Engineering the future self. Blueprint. Destruction without construction leaves a vacuum. If you strip away an old identity without replacing it with a clear, high-precision framework, your subconscious mind will automatically drift back to whatever patterns are familiar. You must design the future self blueprint. This is not about vague, pie-in-the-sky dreaming. This is about defining the exact technical specifications of your upgraded identity across 3 core dimensions. 1. Non-negotiable standards. What are the exact, non-negotiable daily protocols of the man who has already built the reality you want? How many hours of focused, deep work does he complete before touching his phone? How does he train? How does he eat? Define his exact baseline parameters. 2. Stress and friction protocols. How does your upgraded identity handle unexpected setbacks? When a deal falls through or a campaign fails, what is his immediate response? He doesn't spiral into emotional reactivity. He assesses data, adjusts strategy, and executes immediately. 3. Refusal metrics. What low-value behaviors, toxic conversations, and time-draining habits does this man completely refuse to tolerate? An upgraded identity is defined just as much by what it rejects as what it accepts. Write these parameters down as explicit rules. You are building the user manual for your new operating system. Step 4. Compounding microproof. Here is the fundamental law of subconscious reconditioning. Your subconscious mind does not learn through empty words or positive thinking. It changes through tangible, undeniable proof. You cannot trick your brain into believing you are a disciplined, high-value operator if your daily actions prove you are easily distracted and inconsistent. Every single action you take throughout the day is an explicit vote cast for the identity you are building. When you sit down and complete a 90-minute deep work block without checking your phone once, you aren't just finishing a task. You are delivering direct psychological proof to your subconscious that you are a high-focus operator. When you step into a cold shower, execute a hard workout when you don't feel like it, or make the difficult business call you've been delaying, you are stacking undeniable evidence. Your old identity is built on years of low baseline votes. To overwrite that old operating system, you must start stacking microproof daily. When the weight of your new votes outweighs the old code, your identity shifts permanently. High performance stops being a temporary sprint and becomes your permanent baseline reality. Take a look at your life right now. The results, the income, the physical condition, and the level of focus you currently have are an exact, perfect reflection of the identity code you have been running for the past 6 months. If you want different results, stop trying to patch up the surface symptoms at layer 3. Step down into layer 1. Sever your identity anchors, audit your internal script, and start collecting daily microproof for the man you are building. If you are locking in this shift today and stepping into your upgraded baseline, type code in the comments below. Subscribe to Inner Wealth Code to unlock deep-level psychological blueprints every single week. Stay focused, execute daily, and I will see you in the next video.